Yep, any day, any day. Hi, everybody. It is the Not So Silent Sister, missing one person, and tonight we're going to do an epic nerd off. But before we begin, I want to first just introduce the ladies, and then later on, we will tell you exactly what we're doing and how you're going to help us figure out if Bloodraven is really evil. First, let's introduce the panel. Let's go with the judges for the evening. AK.
Fucking mute button. Greetings and salutations, loved ones. Lord Commander back in full effect. It's been forever, and I'm with my lovely ladies of the panel. Just look at them, y'all. Just take the time to appreciate the beauty that is on this panel with these ladies right now. Lord Commander over here feeling good. So let's.
Okay, my computer, I think, did something really special. So I'm assuming that AK just said what's up, and now. Sorry, my computer's tripping. Go ahead.
We didn't hear who you wanted to go next.
Oh, okay. So next, let's hit it to the next judge, which is going to be Christina the Sphinx.
Hey y'all, Christina Sphinx. I'm very excited to sit back and judge these epic debates by these epic smart ladies. So let's get into it. I'm ready.
Okay, so like I said, me, Sphinxy, and AK are going to be the judge for the evening. So now let's introduce the lawyers. On the good side of things, representing Bloodraven is Be the Beauty. Let everybody know who you are.
Hey guys, it's Lady D here, also known as Black Waddling, and Lady D Grit, and now Be the Beauty. So I like that. So it's good to be here. I do not think Bloodraven is evil. I just don't. So I'm ready to get into this. I'm excited. I just don't. Like, I got the evidence, but I just don't in my heart of hearts. I just don't.
Yes, and I cannot wait for your opening statement. And of course, can't forget the beauty queen herself, who is going against Bloodraven. Let them know who you are.
What's good, everybody? This is Manaro, and I'm here to prosecute Bloodraven because he is what? Evil?
Yes, this is going to be epic. So this is how it's going to go down, ladies and gents. We're going to have 3 rounds. The first round, both of these ladies are going to give us an opening statement of why they believe Bloodraven is good or why they believe he's bad. In the second round, we'll be asking questions, picking their brains, also giving you guys an opportunity to ask them some questions as well. Once they've done that, they will give us their closing statements on why this man is good or evil. And after that, you guys in the chats will be the jury, and you get to decide if he's really evil or if he's good. So I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. So Beauty Queen and Lady Diligence, let me know what number are you guessing, and whoever gets the closest gets to go first.
4. 7.
That girl's in my head. I'm sorry. It is 4. 4 is my favorite number. That's funny. All right, so
it's a conspiracy already.
Hold on, I think it's already.
See, that's why we have 3 judges, because I'm biased of everything and I changed my mind. But 4 is my favorite number. Twin level, but it's cool because you never know. You might pull some things from her and be like, I got you. So, Lady D, let us know, why is Bloodraven good? Because a lot of people in the chats think he's actually kind of evil. So it's cool.
I think that Bloodraven really only did what he had to do, and also only did what was best for the realm. So I don't know if you guys wanted to do like the charge list thing first and then we go through that, or if I'll mess it up with the questions, if I go through all my points now, or how you want to do it?
I want you to just lay out a good argument to why Bloodraven is good, and then Beauty Queen is going to give her argument to why she believes that Bloodraven is evil. And then after hearing both of your arguments, we're going to pick your brains and maybe ask you a few questions to kind of understand more about what's really going on.
Okay.
Going back and forth. It's basically the same thing that we were last time when it was just me, you, and Beauty Queen, except for people are watching you. And this madness kind of just happened.
And judging you.
So let us have it. Yeah. So let us have it. Why is he so good?
I think he's good because I think he's only done what he has to do for the realm. And in some cases, what he has to do for his house, which is really what anybody else is doing in the Game of Thrones as well. So I guess I could lay out points. I guess most notably, or I guess the thing that sticks out first, and then that we all know first, is the fact that he was warging Bloodraven's raven, and not Bloodraven's raven, Jorah Mormont's raven, and we know that. So the infamous corn code, that means that has to be Bloodraven. Telling them to burn the whites, that means that has to be Bloodraven. Warning them at Craster's, that means that has to be Bloodraven too. So I just feel like in the event that you wanted to cause upheaval and cause the realm to fall, then why not let the Night's Watch fall? Why not let upheaval happen at the wall? Why not let the warning shots that the White Walkers set off, those whites that got into the wall, like why not just allow them to kill Mormont instead of telling them how to kill him? I also think that as the Master of Whispers, he's Westeros' CIA. So if you're Westerosi CIA, especially during times of war like the Blackfire rebellions and the Westerosi Patriot Act gets enacted, you got to do some things so that you make sure that everybody is safe. And I think that lots of like not spiders, but whisperers or masters and mistresses of whispers, I think lots of them have really bad reputations, especially if you're really good. We look at Misery the White Worm, we look at Tiana of the Tower, we look at even Varys, like they all have very bad reputations, and that's because they're very good at what they do. And if you have Westeros CIA, you want to make sure that they're good at what they do so that you know what the hell is going on. I don't think that his magic is necessarily dark magic, because I don't think that magic is neither dark nor light. I believe that magic is just magic. And I don't necessarily know that he uses blood magic as a sacrifice or in an evil way. Melisandre shadow binds, and that's what allows glamoring. It's all shadows and stuff. It's like shadows and light, and I guess it doesn't require like a life to be sacrificed, you know? So it's like if he's glamoring and stuff in order to find out information, when he was pretending to be Maynard Plum or whatever, when he was glamoring to find out information, I really feel like that's all just a part of what he had to do as Westerosi CIA. And, you know, he was Westerosi CIA for a very long time. I don't should I keep going, or is that like?
No. So thank you. That's interesting. Some of the things that you pointed out, because it actually made me have a question later on. So, Beauty Queen, let us know, why is it that you think that Bloodraven is actually evil?
Good morning, judges, ladies and gentlemen of the panel. If you would indulge me for a moment, I want to give you the definition of the word evil. It is described as morally wrong or bad, immoral, wicked, harmful, and injurious. So, Bloodraven, did some of the acts that he committed in the realm were immoral, harmful, or injurious? I would dare to say yes. Even though some people may argue that what he did was for the greater good of the realm, I would argue that some of the actions that he took, he didn't have to take. He could have used alternative methods and still gotten the desired effect that he needed in order to secure the realm. He's a kinslayer. That is one of my major gripes with Bloodraven. You don't invite someone under the pretense of good faith and then behead them. I'm sorry. That is immoral. That is harmful. That is injurious. I understand that you have to, you are trying to bring stability to the realm, but at what cost? So I would dare to argue that his actions throughout the realm, even now through present day, even though he is saying it's for the greater good of the realm, again, I would turn your attention to the definition of the word evil: harmful, injurious, wicked. I rest.
Okay, interesting opening arguments from both sides. Now, this is the time where we're going to ask you guys if you have any questions to these two lawyers of Westeros for today, and ask them any questions that you want as far as if he's good or if he's bad. So, AK, did you have a question based off of what they said, or do you kind of want me to lead it and then?
Oh no, you go ahead. I will interject when I get something.
Okay, and Sphinxy is going to help me out with the questions in the chat. So Sphinx, just wave your hand if you see a question, and we'll go from there. So based off of this, it seems like morals is one of the center things of if he's good or bad. But can you actually be not moral, but can you be honorable when it comes to war? Is that considered evil when you're trying to win? Can you be modest? I mean, because you're saying he's evil, I really want to know what events did Bloodraven do to make him be ultimately evil? Any one of you guys can go.
Well, since I'm the one that's going to say, I understand that when you're at war, there are certain tactics in order to win. And I guess I use my experience as a military person, and having been in a combat zone, we operate under a certain set of rules. War is war, but what separates us from the animals is that we abide by a code. Right? There is a code that we abide by. That's what separates us from other people. And there is a code of conduct on the battlefield. Again, I understand that war is war, and if an enemy is in front of you, it's your life or his life, right? But that doesn't mean that you don't abide by a certain set of codes. There have been codes since the onset of any war that you have seen in history. Most sides have a code, especially if you are in a regiment. You abide by a certain code, a code of conduct when it comes to war. And I don't believe that he always abided by that code. And again, my biggest gripe with Bloodraven is that even though he was doing things in order to, in his mind, felt that he was doing it for the greater good of the realm, some of the decisions that he made, I think he could have gone a different way about it. The couple of things that I hold against him is that the way that he killed his half brother on the battlefield, and the way that he killed Aenys when he told him Aenys was turning himself in when he came to King's Landing. He had him arrested, and not only did he arrest him, he could have arrested him and kept him in the black cells. No, he went a step further and beheaded him. For what? To make a point? Your point would have been made once you arrested him. You didn't have to go further and kill him and murder. That was straight blatant murder. I'm sorry. Your cousin was your half brother was on a battlefield. He was having a fight. The foe that he was fighting was injured. He stopped fighting to protect the person he was fighting against. You saw an open opportunity. Instead of abiding by a code of conduct, you decided to use that as a means to kill him and everyone else around him. I don't think that was an honorable kill, at least in my opinion. I don't think it was. I think it was a wicked thing to do. You could have waited until there was actual engagement going on, but you saw what he was trying to do. I don't think he is a nice person. Especially, okay, let's talk about Bran.
Hold on. Because I kind of want to make sure these are like maybe two. So we're going to talk about Bran. Let B respond to that, and then we'll go back, and then you go further into details about Bran. Okay? Sound good? Okay, B, let's have it.
So on the evil thing, I think that evil is subjective, because something even as small as taxes can be seen as amoral or harmful when it comes to governing an entire realm when somebody's too poor. Like, that could be harmful, that could be seen as evil to me. So evil is going to be subjective if we're going to take it out of like the actual textbook definition. So I chose to look at evil as greatest good versus greatest harm. So that's how I'm trying to frame it. So for everybody who listens to the argument, try to frame it in your mind as greatest good versus greatest harm, because to me, the base definition of evil is subjective. Now, on to kinslaying. In all honesty, I feel like what he did, first, he didn't actually kill anybody like by his own hand. So there's that whole little loophole of, I didn't actually kill anyone. One, he had a company of archers, and he's in the royal forces, and he's loyal to his brother. It's literally his freaking job to kill them. It's his job. It's their job to kill them. And if he's evil for doing what he did, then I think that we need to look at Stannis Baratheon, and we also need to look at Tywin Lannister. By killing Aenys Blackfire when he came across that water, and by killing Daemon Blackfire on the Redgrass Field, or whatever that was, by killing him then, you stopped the war from continuing and could have possibly saved tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of lives that way. It was more pragmatic to kill him and end the battle. And if he would have been able to kill Bittersteel, it would have been even better. And when they got Bittersteel, they should have killed him, because if they would have, he wouldn't have gone across the sea and raised up another rebellion. So if we're talking about greatest good versus, you know, the greatest destruction, his greater good by killing those two individual people, how many hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of lives did he actually save? And then as far as Aenys Blackfire specifically, the Blackfires, I love the Blackfires. Y'all know I have like a soft spot for the Blackfires. The Blackfires, if we're talking about like the stability of the realm, right, just out of base, stability of the realm. We're talking about stability of the realm and nothing else. The Blackfires have been causing rebellion after rebellion after rebellion, which is going to economically and politically destabilize Westeros. We're not going to be able to grow. And in the event that there is a long night coming or something like that, like that's really going to screw us up. Not to mention that Aenys Blackfire came over in the middle of a cruel, hard winter. So people were probably already pissed off and ready to revolt any damn way. You cannot risk him coming over here to stake his claim for him then to get support from the Blackfire supporters from the other two Blackfire rebellions, and then for him to raise up support from people who are unhappy because they're starving during the winter. Hell no, you got to cut that off right now. No, bruh. You cannot come over here to raise up nothing. So in the event that you want to come over, yes, come on over. I'm a straight CIA you in the 50s. You come on over here, I'm going to kill you. And we're going to do some nation building back where you at. But you're not about to come over here and take over nothing. Like, for the good of the realm, realistically, for them to have a rebellion in the middle of a cruel winter, like, I feel like the better and the best thing for him to do was to go ahead and kill Aenys. And then to prove a point on that, he was not executed. King Aegon V did not execute him. If he was really that upset, I would think that he would be executed. He wasn't executed, yo. He went to the wall, and not only did he go to the wall, he didn't have to walk there like Yoren's people. He went on the ship, and he was described as an honor guard for Aemon, him and all his raven's teeth. He had a company of men with him. If he was that dangerous, you would either killed his ass or you would have made sure he didn't have all his men with him. I also think he took Black Dark Sister, but that's a whole nother whatever.
Okay, that's an interesting point as well. Now, Beauty Queen brought up Bran, and that's also an interesting thing because we're not really sure if he's actually really trying to help Bran or not. So, Beauty Queen, you wanted to bring up Bran. Let's talk about Bran. Bloodraven's involvement, if it's evil or good.
Before I bring up Bran, I just want to respond really quick.
Go ahead.
When he killed Damon, another rebellion came about, so that didn't resolve anything. After he killed Aenys, another rebellion came about. That didn't resolve anything. So him killing those two people didn't stop another rebellion from taking place. It only incited, from the first one, it incited a second one. From killing Aenys, 3 more rebellions were cited. So I don't think it actually ended up resolving the issue by killing the both of them. That's just saying. With respect to Bran, I think that he has some ulterior motives with respect to Bran. I think he lured Bran as a means for some other nefarious means. Is it something that's going to end up helping the realm in some greater fashion? No, I do not trust Bloodraven. I don't think. You know how sometimes somebody feels like they have to do something, and they think that in their mind they say, you know, it has to be done because it's the best thing, but they're willing to do it by any means necessary. At what point is there some sort of checks and balances as to how far a person is willing to go? Because in their mind, they think they're doing a good thing, but at what cost? At what cost to the person that they are affecting? Are they doing this good thing? How many people has he manipulated in order for him to do what is for the greater good of the realm? How many people has he probably caused to go crazy for the greater good of the realm? I understand that you may think that the word evil is subjective, but a word is a word. If you're immoral, you're immoral. Being immoral is not necessarily subjective. Being immoral, being wicked is not subjective. You're doing something that is wrong, that is not right, that is causing injury and harm to another person. If I'm being injured and harmed and I'm the person on the receiving end, that's not subjective to me. That is actual real for me. You on the other hand, that is inflicting the harm. If in your mind you're saying that, oh, it's okay if I hurt you, as long as me hurting you is for the greater good of the realm, then at what point does it not become subjective? At what point do I say you are accountable for the actions that you take because of the end result of the person that is on the receiving end of those actions? I mean, at what point does it not become subjective? At what point does that person take accountability for their actions, whether it's for the greater good of the realm or not? At what point does that person become accountable? If I shoot you, I still shot you. Whether you died or not, I still shot you. Do I not take some sort of accountability for that? Even if it is in war. And for the record, I think Stannis was wrong, and I thought Tywin was wrong. I have already argued that I think Stannis was wrong for the way that he killed Renly. I called him a kinslayer. I don't stand by that. I don't stand by Tywin. I think they did a lot of evil things for whatever they felt was for the greater good of the realm. I understand that a lot of people say it's war, but again, I'm just drawing from my experience as a military person who's been in a combat situation, and I believe in a code, whether we are in war or not in war, and that is what separates us from other people. And I rest.
Okay. You guys are making great points, but our jurors, Alan has a question for you guys. So I'm going to throw this to B, and then you can rebuttal, Beauty Queen. And the question that I now have lost to know about, basically he was saying that it was kind of shady what Bloodraven did in response to, what's homeboy's name? I'm a terrible judge. Whoever Bloodraven invited to come in off of saying, like, you know, we're not going to harm you, and then he harms them anyway. It goes back to that question, can you really be honorable at war? So do you perceive that as an evil act? And I'm going to give that to B, and then I'm going to throw it back to Beauty Queen. And then from there, I really want to talk about Brand and his whole talk about dream manipulation. So before we even get to that, B, let us know, is it morally right that he just let him in, knowing that he said he gave his word that he wasn't going to harm him?
I think I think that that as a private citizen you can talk about morals, but I do not think that as someone who is tasked with the safety of all of these people that you can talk about like what is morally right when it's really literally one person's life against the life of tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of people. By killing this one boy, no, you didn't resolve the succession crisis necessarily, because the Black Friars still want to come and rebel. But what you did do was stop a political upheaval from happening in Westeros, and another economic upheaval happening from Westeros. It would have been destabilizing economically, it would have been destabilizing politically, and thousands of people would have lost their lives with another rebellion. So was it morally right? I mean, it depends on how you were raised and what your morals are. But for me, looking at greatest good to greater evil, is killing one boy, is one boy's life really worth hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of people who literally have nothing to do with this? They're small folk who are going to be fighting. They're knights in arms. It's not these people in these castles. It's not them. It's regular people, and that's who's going to suffer. The realm is going to suffer. So what is it? What is honor? Is it more honorable to let these people suffer because they don't have the right last name? Or is it more honorable to kill him and be done with it? Put me in chains and we'll just keep killing them every time they come over here so they stop coming over here, or whatever needs to happen. But realistically, like, what's the greatest good? And I feel like that's the check and balances. To answer your question about like what's the line, what's the checks and balances, to me the checks and balances is greatest good to greater evil. Does that answer?
Okay. And Beauty Queen, you guys are giving me gold. Beauty Queen, a rebuttal? Or
what is a man if they don't have their word? If your word means nothing, then what are you? Your word is supposed to mean something, especially when you are in a position of authority. If I tell you you have safe passage and I don't give you safe passage, then my word means nothing. My word is nothing. If you knew you wasn't going to give me safe passage, you should have just said, you come over here, you are a dead man. That probably would have kept him from coming over here. Just saying. And he would have known that you meant business. But what is a man if he doesn't keep his word? If I tell you something and I don't keep my word, I am not considered trustworthy. That's all I got to say.
okay, I actually want to throw in a different question, because I think you both explained and also gave good reasons to why what he did may have been morally right and may have been morally wrong. But speaking on his morals, we often see in the series that Bloodraven also can enter people's dreams and manipulate. So that's also something that's kind of like, that's kind of evil, that you're going into someone's mind unwilling. It's almost kind of like Bran when he walks into Hodor, and it's not something that he's inviting. It's more of a forceful thing. You could say that he did that with Mel. Isn't that kind of evil to force yourself into someone's dreams? Or is that just kind of like, it's what he has to do in order to save the realm? I'm going to start off with Beauty Queen on this one, and then B, you can rebuttal this, okay?
I'm gonna give a two-part argument.
2 minutes.
I understand. I'm not gonna say that I totally disagree. I understand probably on a small scale the reason why he probably was manipulating a lot of things, because at the end of the day there is a greater danger on the horizon, right? And so he feels that because he's been entrenched in that true werewood net for such a very long time, I would think at I think he over time started to lose his humanity being hooked up to that tree. I mean, he is a part of that tree. I don't know how human he still is. Excuse me. But this was somebody who was already operating on a whole nother level from the beginning before he probably got entwined in that tree. So I don't know how I feel about somebody going into people's dreams and then manipulating them in such a way in order to get a certain result. Could there have been another way for him to do that? I don't know. That would have been the only way to do it. Does it make it right to me? No, I don't think. To me, it's not right. Was there an alternative way that he could have done it? No, not in his position. He's wrapped up in a tree. How else is he going to communicate? I mean, the argument to me is morally, I don't think it's right. Did he have another way to do it? No. That was his only way of doing it. I think that he lured Bran through deceit in order to get Bran to get to a certain level, because he knows that Bran is probably has a greater part in this story that he has to play. And maybe Bran is too young or too immature to really fully grasp everything that he needs to show him or tell him. But at the same time, he's just he's a little boy, and you are, I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. Again, was there another way or method for him to use in order for him to do that? I don't know. I don't see another way that he could have done it. He probably, he probably could have talked to Bran through the werewolves. I mean, he was in the Godswood all the time, wasn't he? He probably could have talked to him through the werewolves. That might have been a way, but I don't know. Again, I don't think it was. I think it's creepy on so many different levels. I think it's really, really creepy. I think there is some other nefarious things going on, that roads that he's going to take this little boy on. But it could be that's just the path, and this boy has a darker future ahead of him, and that's just the way that this story is going to go. But it just creeps me out. It's a Quaith thing.
Okay, that's actually interesting, because now that you think about it, he probably could have maybe used like the ravens or warged into an animal to send messages. I mean, he kind of did that with Mormont. But because once again, you're telling us there's like the ultimate evil and the ultimate good. So is it evil what he's doing by entering people's dream without their permission?
I don't think so. I think it's monitoring. Is it evil for the U.S. government to be monitoring us right now? Because they are. It's being recorded and it's being put up right now. The NSA is recording it all right now. Is it complete invasion of my privacy? Absolutely. Do I wish it was not happening? Absolutely. But they have some reason why they feel like they need to be monitoring every damn thing. And I honestly don't have enough information to tell me that they don't need to be monitoring a whole bunch. So I don't know. Realistically, I'd rather you listen to me in my stupid phone call and find a person who wants to blow me up than for me to be like, no, it's evil for you to be coming in my dreams and telling me about stuff. And I feel like with Bloodraven specifically, like with Bran, he came into his dreams to warn him. Like, he showed him winter. That was one of the first things he showed Bran. He showed him the north. And he was like, do you see now why you have to learn how to fly? Like, if I'm evil and I don't care and I just want it to come wipe down, why am I doing so many things to help prepare people? Why am I helping Mormont? Why am I helping John? Why am I helping? Why am I helping? Why am I helping? Why don't I just let it happen? Why don't I let winter come? So I think that he didn't, one, have any other way to communicate this very, very important information. I know you guys are like, oh, he could have, you know, had an animal talk to him. What animal? Like a raven? For all we know, they may not even be able to form full-on sentences anymore, or for whatever reason. Or maybe he can't get a dog to talk. Like, it doesn't have a voice box or something like that to talk. Like, for real, like maybe it just doesn't have the ability to talk like that enough. I don't know. Maybe the trees, all you hear is whispers or the rustling, so you wouldn't be able to really send that much information. And for all we know, with Jojen seeing, you know, a crow pecking at a winged lion with this chain around his ankles trying to fly, for all we know, that pecking is Bloodraven trying to get to him through the werewoods, through an animal, through whatever, and it's not working, through the dreams, and it's not working. So Jojen, go get this boy, because I've been trying every damn thing and it's not working. We just don't know. Am I for my minute?
Yeah, that's actually really good. But you guys are actually making really good arguments when it comes to the dream thing. Where one, you could say that him going into Bran's dream is a warning, but then we kind of see what he does to Mel and her glamour off and other stuff like that, where to the point where it hurts her. So I guess I'm curious to his dreams. Like, it seems like he's a little bit hostile, a little bit more aggressive to one than the other. Maybe that's his own reason. But I guess that's one of those where it's a thin line between, like, I get why you're doing this, but still this is against someone's will. However, still on the subject of Bran, our juror, Dish Murphy, shout out to her. She has a question, and so it says, Bloodraven set up Bran to get touched by the Night King. Bloodraven queued up the Hodor sequence so that Hodor was raised to be available to transport Bran. And she wants to know why. Why for the realm, for Bran? So based off of her question, do you think that Bloodraven is truly helping Bran, or is he setting him up? I'm going to start off with you, B, and then Beauty Queen, I want you to rebuttal. Thumbs up this video because they're giving us epic, great debates. So thumbs up and show these ladies love. But B, is Bloodraven really helping Bran, or is he using them?
I think he's helping Bran. I do think that it's important for us to remember that the show is different. We got the 3-eyed raven and the 3-eyed crow. So we really don't know if that is like a mixture of somebody else that will come later or something like that, to be honest with you, for real. So I do feel like we do need to be careful about that. But as far as the setup, I did see the setup. I see what people are saying about the setup, but I don't know that it was a setup. And here is why. He specifically told Bran repeatedly, do not go swimming, you gonna drown. Stop doing that, you're gonna drown. If he's trying to teach you something and he got to go through the book, he's been sitting up in this cave for over 124 years by himself, living through memories and going through stuff. He still has to monitor. He still has to make sure all the threads that he's pulling is doing what it's supposed to do. Just like Littlefinger, just like Varys, he has to make sure that his people are on whatever. So he needs to be monitoring and in the trees. And we see that there are times where he's just dead out. So Bran decides to go on his own and do some shit that he told him not to do. He told him not to do it. He was like, don't go, dude, don't spend too much time. You'll drown. Don't do that. I got you. I'll tell you where to go. I'll tell you what you need to learn. When it happens and he touched him, Bran lied and was like, nah, he just saw me. He looked at him and was like, nah, he touched you. Like, I could feel it. He touched you. And then he immediately goes into the Holder situation. And I think the reason why he did that was to prepare Bran. He was trying to do like the epic download of epic downloads. Like, look, we don't have no time no more. They have found us. You have the mark now. I don't understand, like, if Bloodraven was evil, then Bloodraven would have had the mark of the Night's King. Then the Night's King would have come in there because he would have known that Bran was there in the first place. Instead, they come in and they kill Bloodraven. What you killing him for if he's on your side? I think that what it is that Bran did something that he wasn't supposed to do, and Bloodraven had to start the epic download, and then, you know, basically teed it up so that Bran would live. Because if he didn't give him that sequence, if he didn't give him that Hodor sequence, Bran would be dead, and winter would be coming, and we would have no Greenseer. So that's what I think. And then, yeah.
That is actually a good point. So Beauty Queen, what do you have to say? As far as is Bloodraven helping Bran or is he using Bran?
Since this is a show question, I'm gonna keep my answer to just purely what I think about the show. I'm not gonna interject no books. In the show,
the way you want, because I don't.
Well, because I have to separate the two, because I don't think Bloodraven in the show is necessarily the same as Bloodraven in
I
the
agree.
book.
Give us based on the TV show perspective, and then I really want to hear your book perspective. Are you helping Bran or if he's using them?
On the show, I believe that he is helping Bran, because the way that the scenario plays out on the show, he is like a teacher for Bran, to kind of teach Bran how to navigate the weirwoods. How do you go in? How do you observe? You know what I mean? How do you gain information? How do you do recon? And then you have to understand that you have a stopping point that you have to get out before. Just like B said, he told him not to stay too long or else you'll end up drowning, right? So I believe on the show that he is actually trying to teach Bran how to become the next three-eyed crow. Basically, you're going to be my replacement. So I have to teach you how to navigate this weirwood net. I do think also in another respect that I don't think he really gave Bran all of the information that he really needed, because that whole thing with Hodor, I don't think Bran was ready for that. And I'm still up in the air about whether or not he probably might have set that circumstance up for it to play out the way that it played out. Because now that's something that, you know, Bran is going to have to carry for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? But on the show, I'm going to agree with B on that. I think he was helping Bran. I think he was there to teach him about what to do. He was teaching him when they would go through the visions, you know what I mean? He's kind of like showing him things, and you know, and every time he saw that Bran was going through too far, he would touch him so that they would come out. And then, you know, basically kind of telling him, look, you can't stay under too long. With respect to the books, again, I think I will agree. I will concede that he is helping Bran, but there's something a touch more nefarious about how he's nefarious or sinister about how he's going about doing it. Again, and I think it's mostly because he's pretty much lost a lot of his humanity. You can't be intertwined in a tree for over 100 years and still have any human qualities left. You're straight operating off of you've become machinery. You know what I mean? At least you've just become a part of the machinery. You've pretty much lost a lot of your humanity. So you're operating off of ones and zeros. and you're looking at the greater, you're looking at the probability of survival. And so you're making decisions and choices not based on human emotion or any human elements. You're basing it off of ones and zeros. And so if it requires X to happen, that's what you're gonna do. It doesn't matter what the emotional or mental outcome or physical outcome, that does not matter. That is something to the side. And I understand it's for the greater good of the realm. I understand that there is a greater threat on the horizon, and things have to move, and they gotta happen quickly, and you gotta get this boy up to speed. But that still doesn't make good. Okay. I mean, I guess in what I'm doing is I'm separating the method used, not necessarily correlating it with the outcome.
Interesting what both you say, and that you're actually kind of agreeing, which I think is interesting. But another question relating to Bran and Bloodraven, and then we can switch to the topic that B kind of wants to discuss. And it comes from David Adam, aka Dirty D, and he's questioning, or he wants you guys to answer this question so that he can fully understand. He says that it seems as if Bloodraven might have been jealous that Bran can walk. He's the next Green Seer, and that's the reason why he probably helped Jaime out. Do you think Raven had something to do with his fall, or do you think that Bloodraven just knew it was going to happen and knew that once this tragedy happened, that's when the third eye awakens? So I guess my question is, did he help Bran awaken his third eye by helping that situation happen, or was it he was just there and knew what to do? I'm going to go with B first, and then this could be a quick 1-2 minute answer, and then I want to get into some of the topic points that B wanted to bring up. Okay, ladies? Is that cool? B, did Bloodraven help for him to break his legs, or was it just it was always going to happen?
I don't think so. I think it was always going to happen, and I think that it sort of meshes well with what I believe this theory of time is inside of the books, where you really cannot affect the past, where no matter what you do, there may be things that change. It may be light, it may be dark, you may hear a yell, you may whatever, but the end result will always end up being the same. I forgot what that theory of time is called, but it's basically like no matter what happens in the middle, X is always going to happen. So I think that X was always going to happen. And so Bloodraven knew that, but what Bloodraven did and went out of his way to do was to save Bran, to bring his ass out of that coma and be like, boy, you need to go north, like winter is coming. So he didn't just let him die. I think he tried to save him as much as he could, but it's not going to give him his legs back. I don't think he caused the falling. I think it was going to happen anyway. It was just fated to do so.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way too. So did Bloodraven had a hand in getting Bran's legs broken, or was it was always bound to happen?
I'm gonna have to agree on that point. I think it was already set in stone. It doesn't matter how many, because I believe he said it somewhere himself that the outcomes. I mean, the ink is dry. You can't change things. You could probably divert the path that a person is going to take, but it's still gonna end in the same way. It's the end result is still gonna be the end result. Bran liked to climb. He was always gonna climb. If he didn't fall that day, he probably was gonna fall another day. At the end of the day, he was still going to fall. It still was gonna happen. Let's say he didn't fall then. What if he fell in King's Landing? He still would have fell. He still would have messed up his legs. It's it was an inevitability. It was going to end up happening. Ooh, I used the Matrix word.
I'm gonna actually have to agree with you both. I don't think that he purposely did. I just think that Jamie's a bitch and he pushed that kid to fuck his sister. Let's just call a spade a spade.
You're right.
I can't stand him.
You're right.
But not chat room Jamie. Shout out chat room Jamie. He's cool, but just off topic. But it seems like the chat really wants to talk a little bit more about Bran. And another thing that also came up from Dirty D was that he wants to know, did Bloodraven want to take Bran's physical place or just mentally? So let's start off with you, Beauty Queen, and then B, I want you to answer, and then I think we're going to try to move on from Bran and Bloodraven, because Bloodraven also, we want to talk about his ties with the Children of the Forest and the others. So I don't want to just stick on Bran and just because, you know, we got like less than an hour now. So question, Bloodraven, did he want to take Bran's place or mentally, physically? Did I say Beauty Queen? Or B? B, you go first.
I don't think that he wanted to take over anything. I don't think he wanted to take over anything. Bloodraven can ward. He's a powerful ward because he can do it across the wall. You know, Jon lost contact with Ghost. Bloodraven ain't losing contact with nobody. Like, he can do it across the wall in Castle Black with this little freaking bird on Mormont's shoulder, like Corn King. Like, he's fully capable, I would believe, of working in the brand or taking somebody else's body over. And it wouldn't surprise me if we find out later in the story that he has done that in the story. So I think he's capable of it. I don't think he would have taken him because he could just ward. Sorry to answer the question.
Okay. And Beauty Queen, and then we'll go forward to what B wants to bring up, another topic with Bloodraven. So B, same question. Is he trying to take Bran's physical form or just mental, or what's going on there?
I don't think he wants to take his, I mean, Bran, for all intents and purposes, is a cripple. So why would he need to take over his body? He wouldn't be able to do it. He wouldn't be able to do anything. So, but Bran might end up surpassing Bloodraven at some point. I don't know if he saw that because Bran is rare, right? Because he's a green seer and a warg, and that happens in like 1 every millionth. I don't remember what the number is, but
1 in 1,000,
something like that. So Bran, he is very, I believe he is very in tune with Bran's special abilities. It could be that Bran will surpass Bloodraven in his ability, because he was able to, we don't have anything on record that says how long it took for Bloodraven. It took for him to learn how to warg a human and how to warg an animal. Bran was able to do that seamlessly. Like, he was able to warg into Hodor, like, I don't know, without barely any effort. Because when we look at the Varamir Sixskins prologue chapter, it breaks down about, you know, it goes through it talks about, you know, warging into people and warging into animals, and how a person is able to be able to do those things, and what the effects are on certain people, what the effects are on a person. And Bran being able to warg into Hodor, I think it was only because Hodor wasn't necessarily all that smart. Because when you looked at when Varamir tried to warg into that woman, she nearly wanted to kill herself. She went crazy because he was trying to take over her body because he wanted another life. She ended up killing herself, so he ended up having to go to warg himself into one of his wolves. Could Bloodraven had been like, yeah, I think I'm gonna warg into Bran, and so that I can have my second life? maybe if Bran still had his legs, I don't see. I'm gonna also have to agree with you on this point. He could walk into anybody that got both their legs working, that is young, strong, virile, and can do whatever they need to do. But I think Bran's special green seer and warg ability is something Bloodraven. To what end? I'm still waiting to see. I'm still waiting to see that.
I have to give you two credit because I am loving these not theories, but these arguments you're giving, and you have not made it easy on the panel or the chat room because it seems like it's up in the air. And I also want to shout out to Sphinxy, who's helping me out in the chats. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So B, I kind of want, like I said, I want to move on from Bloodraven and Bran. B, I know you wanted to add something in or bring up another topic to discuss, and then a topic that we haven't discussed that you want to bring up, we can definitely do that. And then after that, we'll do a few more questions, and then we want a closing argument. And then after that, you guys are going to let us know whether he's evil or if he's good. And it seems like we're still kind of split because I'm seeing a lot of questions like, well, wait a minute. So it seems like he's not as evil as we think, but there's still evil things seems to be there. Maybe we'll still get into it. So B, what else did you want to add on or have an open discussion about?
What it was the time. It's like the timeline theory. I can't find it in my notes. I was trying to look it up, but it's a theory of time where no matter what happens in the middle, whatever X is going to be, X is going to be. And so going with that theory and how Bran is able to seamlessly get into Hodor, we haven't seen Bran get into anybody else. And if Bran got into Hodor when Hodor was a child, then that means that Bran has been warging Hodor's entire life just about before Bran was even born because of the causality, right? What caused Hodor to lose his mind was Bran breaking into his mind, but that happened before Bran was born. So Hodor's mind was broken before Bran even came about by Bran. So of course it would feel like an old boot slipping on because you have literally warged him your entire life and most of his life. So that was something I wanted to, it was just that point on the timeline. If everything is inevitable anyway, well, then causality also has to be inevitable. Because X happened, you had to do X. And because you did X, now X, Y, Z can happen. You can warg Hodor, you can like an old boot, you can get him out of a dream because you've warged him his entire life. You warged him before you were born.
Okay, if you do find that, just send me the link, and then I will put that in the description box below so you guys can check that out later on. For sure. Beauty Queen, did you have anything to add on to that? Because there is a question dealing with Bloodraven and the children of the forest that I think is interesting, and I know you guys are going to want to tackle.
The only thing I would that timeline thing, that if you've done something before that it becomes familiar. But if you didn't know that you've done it before, or you don't know that you've had that experience before, how would you know that you doing it was a natural thing for you to do? Because warging didn't necessarily was warging, at least from my understanding from what I read, he didn't realize that's what he was doing until Jojen told him that's what he was doing. Like he was doing, and it wasn't until he understood that he was doing that, then he said, well, let me see if I can warg into Hodor. He didn't understand the laws of not warging into a human being. I understand what you are saying, B. I totally understand it. I guess I'm just, the only thing that I would add, even if I have already had a previous experience, because it's a cycle, you know what I mean? It's a consistent loop, if you will. When I'm going through that loop again, it's not like I knew what I did in that I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's not like I knew what I did in that previous loop, so I didn't have any prior information. It's not like Groundhog Day for me. Like I live today, I wake up, it's the same day again, and I remembered that it was today, and I'm going through this continuous, it's like a continuous loop, and I haven't been able to break out of that. So I guess again, I understand what you're saying, that he's done it before, so it was easy for him to do it. But if he didn't at the point that we're reading the story, if he didn't understand that's what he was doing until somebody told him, could we say that it was something that came natural to him, not necessarily because he had done it already, that in the present time that he's in, he doesn't understand. So he's just a young boy that's just going through the experience, not really understanding what he's actually doing. He's just doing it because it's somewhat instinctual to him, because of the fact that he is a green seer and a warg unbeknownst to him.
You guys are blowing my mind. I already know that after this, I'm going to be reading a chapter or two to be like, okay, I see where you're coming from. I don't really want to get too much into brand warging, but if you guys are really into that or interested, we can always set up another stream to really dig into brand, because as y'all know, Brand is my favorite. However, Brand's a little sadistic just because, like I said, he Hodor's mind knowing that he kind of doesn't want to do it. So like I said, we can have like another whole stream about Brand, because I know that you guys are sending some questions about Brand. So we can always make a part 2 with Brand. But I kind of want to talk about Bloodraven and the Children of the Forest. And Moni G, shout out to her. She has a question where she basically wants to know, if Bloodraven is really on the side of the Children of the Forest, and if the Children of the Forest is actually good or bad, because they kind of seem like they're working with each other. So I already know that how B feels about this. So I'm gonna start with this, and then B, you can follow up. So of course, are they good and bad, and is Bloodraven working with them, or is he kind of, what's going on with that situation?
I'm going to be honest. I'm not very well versed on the Children of the Forest, other than what I've heard other people say. So a lot of what I'm going to say is not necessarily original thought. So if we go back to the first War of the Dawn, I think there's a theory out there that there were 2 different factions of the Children of the Forest. And so there was the faction, and then so the faction that created the White Walkers. I guess my question before I answer that is the faction that created the White Walkers are the ones that are still left, and the other faction died out? And if that is the case, are those the ones that are now working with Bloodraven? Because if we are to believe what the show says, that they created this weapon in order to be able to protect themselves, and then the weapon became sentient. It became a sentient being. It no longer was under the control of its creator. It now decided that it was going to live for itself, and start to create its own race, or its own colony, or its own world outside of its creator. Then I don't know if I want to say, I don't know if I would agree totally that they were evil. Did they do something bad? Yes, they did something bad. As we can see the results from, as we already know what the results were from the first War of the Dawn. That these White Walkers created, killed people and reanimated them, and all kinds of bad things happened. Were they doing it for the purpose of protecting themselves? it was war. So does that excuse it? So I don't. I think they did evil deeds. I think I'm sorry. I think their actions resulted in an evil outcome. But again, I'm gonna say this: if I'm a White Walker, I didn't ask to be here.
Mm-hmm. Did you freeze up?
Say that again.
Okay, you froze up on me a little bit.
Oh, I'm
Repeat
sorry. I said, so
sentence.
if I'm a White Walker and I'm trying to fight for my survival, and so I create an army of undead, but the only way that I can create an army is to kill people and then bring them back to life. Does that make me evil, or does it make what I do evil? For me, I guess I separate the two, right? Because I'm not gonna sit up here and say that the White Walker in and of itself is evil. I'm gonna say what they are doing is evil, but to them it's not considered evil because they're just trying to survive. They're trying to fight for their survival. For them, it's, do or die. Because all these humans are saying that they gotta go because they don't have a place in their world. They didn't ask to be here, but that doesn't mean that the way that they're doing it is necessarily I shouldn't use that word, but it doesn't mean that what they are doing is right. It doesn't make it a good thing because they are killing people and reanimating them, and these people eat other people. I mean, it's like the Walking Dead type of situation. So with respect to Bloodraven, knowing all of this, now they're trying to get rid of them. How they're trying to do it, I don't think it's necessary. I hate using that word. I don't think it's a good way. I don't think it's good necessarily, but it's necessary to happen, because if they don't do it, it might mean the destruction of humanity. So it's like that whole cycle is coming back around again. So they have to figure out a way to get rid of him. And Bran is the key. Bran is one of the keys to the destruction of the White Walkers.
Interesting, your perspective on the Children of Forest compared to your perspective on Bloodraven. That's really interesting. So I'm going to shoot this to be same questions. I know, but do you think the Children of the Forest are good or evil, and are they using Bloodraven, or is he working with them? And before you answer this, video out there with the lovely Lady Diligence, who has the video about the Children of the Forest being so and then of course Tony has Teflon has the one where they're evil. So you have two completely different perspectives, but you definitely got because her videos are just really good. So let us know. And I'm so happy AK came back.
Me too. As y'all know, or some of y'all may not know, just real quick, I think that the categorization of the Children of the Forest as evil is unfair because they had their land taken. And I think that the impetus that sort of pushes us towards believing that they're evil for striking back is the fact that most of us are from places that were colonized. And most of us were taught that this is just how nations are built. You come in and you kill everyone, and then you make everyone over in your own image, and it's not right. So morally speaking, what the Andals and what the first men did was evil, and greater good versus greater harm. Well, for them, the greater good was that they got to come here and now they're in freedom and they get to, build their houses or whatever. But the greater harm is that you decimate an entire population. You commit a genocide here. So it's it's just, that's why I look at the children of the forest as natives, and I don't consider what they did as evil. I think they did what they had to do to create the strongest weapon that they could to get rid of these invaders that were murdering them in droves, that were destroying their homes, killing their children, taking their wives, doing whatever. Like the things that men do in Westeros, can you imagine what they were doing to small children of the forest, females? Can you imagine what they were doing to the kids? Can you imagine what they were doing to these people and these things? You know, it happened in America and all these places when they were colonized. Like, come on. Like, you can't be mad at any sort of native population for getting together and being like, all right, this is what we're about to do. You've committed genocide against them. So I don't think that their activity with creating the White Walkers was evil. I think it was their best attempt at trying to defend themselves. What I do think is that the White Walkers went rogue. I do think that they went rogue, because when the long night came, the children of the forest were hiding out too. You know what I'm saying? They weren't out there like, woo, boo my yay, White Walkers, boo my yay. No, they were inside of the caves like, come up in here. Like, you know, and when the last hero or the last heroes came, they helped. And like, you know, check out the video if you have time. Won't go through the whole thing here, but shameless plugs. Realistically, if you are in the long night, in regular winter right now where Asha is at the Crofters Village, she cannot see 10 feet in front of her. The long night, baby, there is no light. It is dark. You are not about to find the children of the forest unless they send for you. It's just not going to happen. Like, you're not going to find them. Someone has to come and get you. Something, you need something has to happen. There's no way you're going to be able to find them if you can't even see your hand in front of your face. So I don't think they were evil. I think they were doing the best that they could to try to save themselves and their land and their people and their property, which is their right as sentient beings. And it just so happened that the weapon got out of control, which is unfortunate. But I don't think they were evil for the creation or for what they did.
I'm loving this. I just want you to know that after this, I'm reading some things. So we've talked about a lot of things. Basically, the moral lines of Bloodraven. Is he stepping over it? Is he just barely making that thing? But I want the ladies to have a closing argument to drive it home why you should think that Bloodraven is either evil or you should think that he's good. And then after that, we're going to take a vote, and you guys in the chat are going to let us know either he's good or he's bad, and then we're going to kind of close this thing down. But don't worry, because there are other streams tonight. JD has a stream at Eastern time, because you know he don't like that West Coast vibe, but he has a stream later on tonight. So if you're up, I mean, it's Friday, you ain't got nothing else to do, you might as well show up. His streams are really good, so definitely check that out. But back to this debate, because my girls have been killing it, because my girls are making it extremely hard. I'm going to make it even harder. So Bloodraven is evil. Beauty Queen, bring it home to us. After all of this discussion, after all the question, is Bloodraven still evil? And if he is, drive it home for the jury of the chat room to let them vote for him being evil.
I stand by my original thought that I think that he's evil. He's evil because of the acts that he committed. If you can't keep your word, then nothing that you do or say means anything. Your word is supposed to be what you stand on as a human being. And it has nothing to do with, oh, the greater good or any of that. If you give me a word that you're going to do something or you're going to, or something is going to happen, and you go against that, then you are less than a person to me. If you use harmful and injurious methods in order to have to get your point across, then you are less than a person to me. Remember what I started with. The definition of evil was harmful, immoral, injurious, and wicked. Separate all that, oh, I gotta save 10,000 people. Oh, I gotta, I'm trying to, do all of this. Your acts are evil. Your acts were evil. You did evil things. You did not stand by your word. You said you were going to do something, you did something opposite. Not only that, you didn't abide by the code. You had no code of honor. So that makes you evil. If you have no honor, you are evil. Remember, if you cannot stay by your word, you are evil.
Interesting. All right. Lady D, bring us home. Good argument throughout this entire stream of why he's evil. So why should we believe that Bloodraven is good? Bring it home. And I want to warn you and be fair, because this statement was on point and she came out swinging. Don't go out like that, girl. Bring it home.
I can't go out. All right. I understand completely what the textbook definition of evil is. However, every politician ever has lied. There are ministers who lie. There are parents who lie. Things happen to people all the time. I don't like when somebody cuts me off in traffic and it makes me 15 minutes late for work. Is it evil? Their intent was to get in front of me, and it disrupted my day, and it made that I could not get to work on time. Now I'm going to get chewed out, and morally that pisses me off, because you shouldn't do that. Morally, is that okay? No, but is it evil? To me, I believe that evil should honestly be, when we're looking at whether somebody is evil or not, if they're good or bad, is the greater good versus the greater harm. In your life, what weighs more, the good or the harm? And Bloodraven did more good than harm than he caused. Yes, he killed individuals, but 4 rebellions down with the Blackfires, and how many hundreds of thousands of lives were saved because he kept killing them, like individually. You can say it didn't stop the crisis, no, but the man on the street, the average person, me and you, the lords may not have gotten to play their Game of Thrones, but the small folk got to survive and live and have another generation and live in a politically stable place and live in an economically stable place and be okay for generations. And that was because of Bloodraven, whether they like it or not. I also think that if we're going to look at what evil is, then we're going to have to start calling a bunch of, if we're going to look at what evil is as that textbook definition, we're going to have to start calling a whole lot of characters in the story evil. Tywin Lannister is evil. Stannis Baratheon is evil. Marwyn the Mage is evil. Sam Tarly is evil. Samwell Tarly is evil. That's right. Moral turpitude, people. He was wheeling and dealing to get Jon to get inside that office. Is that morally right, or should the best man win? What's evil? What is evil? It is the greatest good, I believe, versus the greater harm. And he was doing a lot more good than he was doing harm. I do think that I don't know how else to say it. I do think that the way he's framed in history is a result of the Maesters and a result of people who don't like him. I do believe that that's the same way that Misery the White Worm, right, was painted, the same way Tiana of the Tower was painted, Larys Clubfoot was painted, Varys will probably be painted, all of that. But when we look at it, how stable were they trying to keep the realm? Like, how cool were they trying to keep things? Quiet as it's kept, Varys said, keep the damn gates shut, don't open them for Tywin. He was trying there. It's for the good of the realm. It just is what it is. And when you hire somebody to be Westeros CIA, you can't be mad if they enact the Patriot Act. He's doing the greatest good. He's doing a minimal amount of damage, or the least amount of damage that he can possibly inflict, to make sure that things are good for more people on a grander scale. And I believe that.
Boom.
Yes, loved it, loved it, loved it. Thank you, Trippin. Talking about Sam is evil. I don't know, but I love what you brought
By
to
the
the table.
textbook definition.
Dude,
By the,
write
that
I
wasn't
get it.
morally right. Was that right? Was that morally right? That's not
Hey,
morally right.
write it down. Put it on the list.
Hey, Judge, I'm not trying to be biased, so that's why I'm going to leave it up to the chat. So now, both ladies killed it, gave you so many good arguments about why this man is evil and why is he good. Now, if he is or not, so now I want you guys to throw it in the chat room. If you think he's evil, type evil. If you think he's good, type good. And we're going to calculate all the votes. And in like a minute, we're just going to count them all up, and we're going to find out if this man truly is evil or if he's good. For you guys to write if he's evil or good, I want to shout out to Northy. Wish you were here, homie. And also to Broke Black Man. Thanks for joining us. Once again, there is another stream after this, even though it's like at 1 o'clock in the morning. Just be up, you ain't doing nothing. Might as well hang with JD the Dragon. It's all love here. Also, because my girls just rock this, you need to go and subscribe to each and every one of their channels. It is already in the link below. I'm in a shout out mood. I definitely got to shout out AU because I saw his stream with Sam. Shout out to Sam. And they were just talking about Bloodraven and Brand, all these things that it just made me want to stream. So shout out to them. If you haven't, Days of Thrones, JD had Broke Black Man, he had Sam, he had me, he had Monero. If you did not see that Monero one, I highly suggest it. He had Kraken, James, he had all types of people on there. Don't miss out. He's doing awesome things over there. So did we get the votes in? Are we still trying to figure out if this man's evil or no?
Yeah, I think I got the votes in.
Okay,
Can you hear me
so
okay?
yes, Sphinxy. Oh, missed that voice.
I've been here holding it down, man. Holding it down the chat room.
Let's say it because my AK internet has not been making her great. I just need to hear that voice. I don't even care if she starts saying the ABCs. Just say something. And then we're going to tell you in that face, just moving around like, oh, so something, girl. Just want to hear that
The
voice.
internet gods don't like me tonight. I don't know why. They just don't want me to be great. Every time I think it's gonna work out, get smacked down.
That's how I felt when on Monday when you guys were like talking about all the theories. I was typing my life away. That stupid message that says, "Hey, you need to chill out. You've been texting too much." Like, nah, bitch, I still got.
I hate that.
Don't limit my life. Let me type what I want.
My biggest pet peeve with YouTube.
Like, you don't pay not one bill over here. I'll type what I want. I said it a lot because I'm excited.
Yeah. And
So
have a lot of shit to say.
I'm grateful that you guys did this with me. This was kind of a spare of the moment thing, but hit the like button after the video goes up. Please comment, share this, and also if you're really into this, we can do more because I'll put all your favorites on trial. I'm not afraid to put Stannis up there. I'm not afraid to put Sansa. I love you, Sphinx. I'm not afraid to put up there. I'm not even afraid to put Arya up there because she ain't done some fucked up things too. And it seemed like Sam evil, so we gotta chuck them up there. I think we also need to put the others up there. We can put the children of the forest. I'll put everyone in Westeros on trial. I have no fucks to give. Like, we don't give fucks in 2017.
We're so down for that.
So,
we totally make it
just
a series.
We ran out of those in 2016.
I think every single character got evil. I honestly, I don't think not one of them. I guess I'm not biased against any character because I can defend you to say that you are good, and I can defend you to say that you are evil because you are both. Some are just a little bit more evil than others. At least in my opinion, I just think that some are just more evil than others. But I think they all.
Cool. It doesn't even have to be if they're evil or not. We could say, you know, was Sansa the reason Ned died? We could say, you know who we really putting up on trial? We're gonna put that bitch Cat on trial, and we're gonna like that. I can't be a judge. See, this is why
I don't know.
I'm
Yeah, I cannot be unbiased when it comes to fucking Catelyn Tully. I can't. So I might need to chill in the chat room for that one.
Or you could be her defender.
You might be a lawyer.
Yeah, you should be a lawyer.
If I can defend Cat, I think that's going to be harder than getting someone to go against her. Like I said,
I'm not passionate about Cat. I'm not passionate about her either way, but I could play either side. Like I could jump this way or that way. I'm more compassionate for her, but I don't wave like the Cat banner. But like I understand some of her shit, but I don't be like Cat like I do Sansa, you know, like
yeah.
I'm flagging out for Cat.
You versus Timo. I know, but see, you got Bloodraven. I'm probably gonna have to throw you in there with the Children of the Forest. You can't cut up Sansa. Ha. You guys share that. So Timo, I'm gonna work really hard. Timo's gonna light her up, but this is gonna be the stage, the perfect stage.
I'm
so
down
definitely
for it, Timo has to read all the books first because she's still working through the books. Yeah, she's still on her way. And that's what like cool. My Sansa love comes from the book, so we got to be on the same page.
Yeah, that could be set up. It's so many characters. Like I said, fans can get it. You guys had a lot of questions about Bran. He can get it, and I love Bran. Sam, like I said, White Walkers, all of these, they can get it. So, like I said, once it goes up, just let us know. And so, Sphinxy, give it to me.
All right.
Or is he going to stay, or is he going to fly? Which one?
This dude's hellified evil. With the vote of 7-4, mind you, let me just throw this in there, and I can subtract these numbers if you want, but there were a few people who could not choose, so voted for both, which I think still counts. No, but I think it still kind of counts. Like if you could feel both. No, take those votes away.
No. We're gonna do this. You will not be put on my. That's not going down. You're either going to say this dude is evil or this dude is good. Ain't no, oh, he's both. You can't be good and no, okay?
It's okay if you want to say he's good. It's not going to change my opinion. You can go ahead and say he's good. It's not going to change my opinion.
Nah, y'all better say something. I will be petty and throw this man out the moon door because y'all ain't want to say anything. Y'all gonna let me send a good person out the moon door? I'll do it, but why would you want me to? So we're going to do this one more time. You're not going to get BS answers saying, I'm going to say both. No, we're in Westeros. You don't get that opportunity. He's either good or bad. We all know how it works. You're not.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Damn right. And look, if y'all say both again, I'll throw y'all asses out the moon door. How about that? I will be.
I got it. I subtracted the naysayers, the cravens.
So let's do this one more time because we're a family and I love y'all. We're gonna do this one more time. Type in good if you think he's good, and type in evil if you think he's evil. So I promise you, I will find out who your favorite character is and annihilate them.
Are you going to hang out with Brittany or me? Are you going to be her best friend or my best friend?
It don't matter. I still think he good.
You have to fucking choose.
Evil. Y'all think he's evil. I'm still y'all friend. I don't care. I think he's good. I think he's Westeros CIA. You think he's bad?
This is a circle of love and trust.
Yeah.
You're safe here. Hey, Alan demands a trial by combat.
To be here.
Yeah, like
you got trial by combat.
Anyone's feelings because this is the same group where one person loves Sansa and the other hates him, and we still get along. So it's not going to offend anyone, okay? Unless you talk about my precious brand, then I'll cut you. Just joking. I'm just joking.
JD, but you make this shit fucking impossible. JD gives a thumbs up and a thumbs down. He's like yes and no. He'll say good and evil. He can't choose.
He said the leaves gone dry.
So did we get another
Bloodraven's evil.
evil?
I counted. I think it's more evil because Dish said evil, Alan said evil.
Well,
Oh, Jake said good. Ion said good.
I'm counting. Oh, there's another evil from Moni.
Okay, so it
Good.
sounds like y'all still think he's
He's evil, dude.
evil.
Y'all think he's evil.
So to end this, we're going to have come to the conclusion that Bloodraven is. So thank you guys. We did it. We didn't pussy out and say both because we're not like that. Okay, we're on the right side of Westeros.
Some of us did.
We don't play those games. Okay, we don't play those Hunger Games. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to let the ladies go down the road, say their goodbyes, and also to let you know where you can find them, even though the description is in the box down below. So I'm going to start it off with my judge, Sphinxy. Let them know where they can find you.
Hey, that's me. You can find me on my channel in the box below. I'm Christina the Sphinx. And y'all in the chat, if y'all want to chill after this and like hang out and have some tomfoolery, talk about some Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire stuff. Some new stuff has come out. Like we get spoilers every day. So, you know, if you want to talk about some stuff, just let me know in the chat and then I'll fire it up and we can chill out until JD's stream starts. So just let me know. Bye. Hi,
And I gotta give it up to my girls who were just coming back to back with these arguments that made it hard for you guys to choose. So I'm gonna give it to Beauty Queen. Let them know where they can find you. And if you have not checked out her other chapters, do it because Beauty Queen is like the encyclopedia. And if I ever need to pick someone's brain, she's like right there. So let them know where they can find you.
Thanks for having this chat, T. This was awesome. Hugs to everybody. B, my fellow nerd and my fellow nerd comrade. I love having these debates with you. You almost had me convinced that he wasn't evil, though. You almost had me convinced. But I'm sorry. He's a kinslayer. I'm sorry. He's a kinslayer. Anyways, I love having these moments with you guys, especially. I know we have them in our private chats, but I like having them, you know, where we can have the whole family. Thank you to everybody in the chat for coming out. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow around 2:30, and just going to be chatting about some of the stuff that's going to be upcoming on my channel. Please subscribe to everybody here on the panel. Everybody got some good stuff, you know, so I please, yo, if you haven't checked out Lady D's latest video that she just put out on her Great Northern Alliance or look, I don't even know what the right title is, but I need you to go to her channel and I need you to go and watch that video and I need you to smash that like button because she put a lot of heart and time. Look, she was looking crazy trying to put all of that hard work together. So I need all of y'all to go and show her some love. Do it while you know what I mean, while you're laying down, while you at work, while you taking a shit. I don't care how you do it. Just make sure you get on her channel and you show her some love because she put a lot of hard work into it and it shows. It is absolutely fantabulous.
Yeah, I definitely
everybody heart hands.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like I said, she'll drag you into that rabbit hole real quick, and you like, I didn't even ask to be here. I don't want to be here, but it's too late. So B can find you.
Guys, thank you so much for coming. And I just want to say, Not So Silent Sisters, thank you so much, guys. I love you guys. And thanks for watching my video. I feel all warm and cozy inside and stuff. Like, yeah, check out Grand Realm Ambitions. Part 2 is coming. It's just taking me a little bit longer than I thought. Because, man, like, this editing thing is like, hey,
right.
yo, like, it's a lot with all the quotes and everything. But it's really cool, guys. This conversation was really cool. And I really enjoyed it. I know that y'all still think that Bloodraven is evil. we'll see when winter comes out. That's all I got to say about that. We'll see when winter comes out.
When we do chapter rereads, I already know what's in there, and but definitely check out Lady Diligence, and of course, I can't forget my AK. Even though her internet was not trying to let her be great, I'm just saying. I
don't know why I'm being punished.
Thursdays.
What the hell did I do? I don't understand. Always interrupting my streams now. But anyways, this was hella fun, man. Monero, Professor Diligence, this, I can't even put it really into words. Y'all are fucking brilliant, and I'm glad you're my sisters. Love y'all to death. Chat room, heart you. We'll be seeing you sometime next week, I do believe. Or maybe later tonight. I don't know. Lord Commander out.
So once again, thank you guys for joining us. This was so much fun. Y'all basically dimmed a man to be evil, and it was awesome. And like I said, you never know. It could be Cat, it could be Sam, it could be Fran. Hell, it could be Littlefinger. We don't know. But thank you for joining us. Until next time.